Hey guys, welcome back. Got the dragon here. Hey, this is a pretty cool little story, I guess. Good for me. Um, so let me start at the beginning. I saw this truck. This is a 1990 Ford Ranger XLT Super Cab four-wheel drive. And I saw it pop up on Craigslist back around Christmas time. And it was pretty cheap. It said runs and drives, four-wheel drive works, make a good winter truck for somebody. And it was Christmas. I was really busy with work and everything. So a couple days went by before I had a chance to contact them. And I guess like 3 days went by. I contacted him and the guy said, "Hey, sorry, it's already sold. I'll get the ad taken down." Now, it didn't look quite this good because apparently the guys, before they sold it, they touched up the spray paint on the truck, the silver and the red there. What it was is it was a garage was selling it. Apparently the guy who owned it had it there getting some work done and passed away. And apparently the family just signed it over to the garage or something. So they just sold it for what they had in it. So here about a month later, I get a call from a guy who needs a starter put on a 1990 Ford Ranger. I just pulled it in. It's raining outside. That's why it looks a little funny. It's wet and it's drying. But anyway, I get a call from this guy, wants a starter replaced. I say, okay. I go over there, and it happens to be the same truck I saw on Craigslist. Well, right off the bat, the guy doesn't have the right starter. He's got the wrong starter. He thought it was a 2.3, and it's a 2.9. So anyway, before we really got to discuss much, he said he just started telling me about how he wished he never bought it, and his wife's upset with him. They have to move by this weekend. This was Friday, and he really thought he was going to get it started and drive it over there. And now he's all upset, and he just wants to call a tow truck and have them come pick it up for scrap. And I said, well, before you do that, I'll give you scrap price for it because I won't let you take this to the junkyard. I'm sure I can get it going. And he said, well, that would be great because he's tired of messing with it, didn't care, what have you. So anyway, we made a deal right then and there. The guy didn't have his title yet. He had just bought it like a week before that. So he was waiting on his title to come in the mail, but since he moved, they were forwarding it to his new address and not where he was. So it ended up taking a little longer. So we made a gentleman's deal. We wrote a little promissory note to one another that when he got the title, I'd give him a couple $100 and the deal would be done. He said, no problem, as long as it's gone by Sunday. So, of course, the next day I had a little job to do out of town. As soon as I got back in town, I grabbed me a battery, some starting fluid, and some gas, and I went over and I got this thing started up and I drove it to my shop. And it's been sitting out here for a month while we waited for the title. He got the title. I ran over, gave him a couple $100, and now we are the proud owners of this beauty. So, basically what's going on is the starter's going bad. It got weak, and it sounds like maybe some teeth are worn also. It kind of sometimes engages and sometimes it doesn't. It's got a little bit of an issue there, but once again, I did start and drive this vehicle here. It has been severely neglected. The oil's really bad. I don't think they ever changed the fluids or anything in it. It's what it looked like. The oil was terrible. It's got the 2.9 V6 in it. And it does have the, if you all know about these, bear with me. Let me get the hood up here. It does have the ticking noise for a while, but so what I just did was I drained the oil. I put in some of my some Magic in a bottle right here, Marvel Mystery Oil, and I'll tell you what I think about Marvel Mystery Oil is that I've been using it for going on 35 years. And old timers before me were telling me about it. It's been proven to me by my own doing that it works. I've had noisy engines with stuck lifters and stuff like that. It quiets them down. I've had fuel injectors on diesel engines that were stuck and the engines were misfiring or smoking real bad. Put that in the fuel and it worked almost immediately like it was a brand new vehicle. So anyway, knowing this thing's ticking and it's been neglected, I went ahead and put some of that in. I just put some new oil in and I'm gonna run it some. I wanna get the fuel system cleaned up in it. So my idea is to make sure that it runs and drives okay. I mean, I drove it here probably a good 10 miles or so. It ran really good. It kept pulling to one side, and I'll explain that in a second. But the body, there's no rust on it. It had some surface rust, but like I say, the guys touched it up. But this truck, if any of you know about it, this truck was Z-barred. I don't know if some of you may know this. I don't believe they do this anymore. Oh, now I can't get it to focus. But see that little plug? It says Z-Bart right there in my thumb. Yeah, they would drill holes in the body. They're all the way down. They go all over the whole truck. So there's no rust. They drill holes and they put this coating on the inside of the body panels so it can't rust. And it surely has worked. There's only a tiny bit of damage. There's a ding here. Right there, some dings. Then you can see there's a ding there. And then actually here's a pretty good dent, but that'll pop right out. Other than that, the body is perfectly straight and there's no rust. The interior is pretty darn dirty. I was calling it trashed, but I don't know. It's not, like this side's missing a little cover, but it's actually not beat up real bad. It's just really dirty. It needs a really good cleaning. But I was thinking if it ends up running and driving really well, then I may just go get the interior out of another truck. Or, you know, I've done a lot of custom interiors and hot rods. I could just put all new carpet and seats in and, you know, get them covered or whatever. So that's the worst part of the truck, is it's just dirty and worn looking. Needs to be freshened up. But what I'd like to do, of course, like I say, a lot of it's going to depend on, I don't know much about it. I haven't drove it that long. I haven't ran it that long. But what I would like to do is put a paint job on it. I know it looks pretty decent right now. It's just really faded and spotty and all, but I need to get some more practice and I need to get all my equipment set up so I can do a consistent paint job and I can start doing some paint jobs for people. So I'd like to use this as, you know, a guinea pig. So I'd like to give it a paint job and get some rims for it, you know, and all this if it runs okay. So yeah, we'll be working on this here and there, and I'll keep you all posted on, you know, what's going on with it, any problems that come across. I know these things, this year I think is okay. I know like 87, 88, 89 or something like that had a lot of problems with overheating and heads cracking. This motor is supposed to be one of the better ones. I haven't confirmed that yet, but they run like 300,000 to 500,000 miles with no problem. But you can see it's been neglected, so it's going to need fuel filter. I had to clean up the fuel system, get the injectors clean, you know, make sure all the vacuum hoses. There's no check engine lights or anything on. And like I say, it started and ran here, so I'm a little bit ahead of the game. But yeah, it really needs a lot of TLC. But it's got a lot going for it. And whoop, I just knocked my light down. Tripped over the cord. Things are tight in here, man. I got a shop full of bikes. The bed's full of trash, but it does have a bed liner. And so I got to clean all this trash out. That's kind of what the inside looked like when I first got it. But yeah, anyway, it's got a lot going for it. So we're going to keep heading in the forward direction, try to get this thing whipped in shape. I I don't know what's going on here. I got this little bit more of a gap on the left side, and then it's actually leaning a little to the driver's side in the front. And I was all worried like the frame was bent or something, but you can tell it's never been wrecked or anything. So I'm not sure what's happening there yet. But what I found out was the reason why it's leaning a little to this side is because the front driver's side tire is like 2 sizes smaller than the rest of them. So it's like a couple inches smaller. So that's why the truck is actually leaning a little bit. So solved that problem already. So yeah, this video might be boring to my regular followers or whatever, but yeah, to you Ranger guys, probably some pretty cool stuff, huh? And like I say, can't go wrong for the price. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm all about. I try to get things like that and, you know, pay as little as possible and make use out of them. So, all right, guys, I don't want to bore you any longer. Stay tuned. This is probably going to be a long series with this thing. All right, Dragon says, thanks for watching and peace out.